Hello VR and MMO fans. I wanted to make a Zenith overview and basic tutorial for you all so you had an idea of whether or not to buy the game, if it has things you're interested in, and some tips to get you off the ground for when it releases this Thursday, January 27th. But why should you trust me more than any of these other people? Well, for starters, not all of my gameplay is in the first zone. I've played in all of the alphas and betas, and I actually hit max level. This video is a base overview, and I will try to get through as many things as I can in a short time as to not waste your time. Let's get started. Zenith is a VR MMO game, similar to Black Desert Online or World of Warcraft. If you've played those games in the past, I know they are pretty old and some people nowadays might not have played them at all, so I'll go ahead and explain kind of what you do. In these games you complete quests, defeat monsters, explore, and level up so you can complete harder quests and fight harder monsters, with the intention at the end of the game, maybe doing endgame dungeons or raids with large groups of people to get the best gear, coolest looking gear in the game, and of course just look the coolest overall. It is a fashion game after all. When loading into the game, you're going to create a character and pick a shard to play on. You have to pick the same shard as your friends to be able to join them, but you can switch shards every 24 hours, so don't fret if you pick the wrong one. When creating a character, there are 2 starting classes with 3 subclasses each. Blademaster and Essence Mage are the main classes you can choose between. Both of these have support, damage, and tank roles that you can change between at any time. You can change this by going into the Godstone menu. You cannot swap between Blademaster and Essence Mage classes, only between the 3 subclasses for your main class. After you change between one of the subclasses, you will need to wait 1 to 2 minutes before you can change again. Be aware that each of the subclasses have different levels, which means if you swap to one you haven't used before, you will be level 1 again and it might unequip all of your gear since you will be underleveled for it. When completing quests or killing monsters, XP will always be granted to whichever class you currently have equipped. Technically, you could level 2 classes a bit slower, but at the same time, by swapping to the other class right before you turn in a quest to get experience for both. Just remember to swap back. This will make the leveling process take longer overall, but you'd be leveling 2 classes at the same time. The basic movement of the game is use your left thumbstick to move and the right thumbstick to turn the camera. If you are not used to VR or haven't played many VR games before, or your experience is in Beat Saber or Pistol Whip, or any other games where you're not actually moving the stick to move, I recommend snap turn to start and then smooth turn once you get used to the movement. If you do start to feel sick, stop playing and take a break for a bit, as this is the best way to start lasting longer in your headset. There are additional comfort settings under the locomotion settings in the menu that can try to ease your motion sickness. For flying in the game, hold your arms like a T to glide while in the air. Flying can be adjusted in settings to allow for more advanced flying once you get the hang of it and don't get sick. Advanced flying works by angling your hands up and down to increase and decrease your altitude so you can pick up speed and glide faster. This does take a bit of practice, so let me know if you guys want a tutorial on this. When you see someone in world that you want to add as a friend or invite to a guild, use your pointer finger to point at them and a line will appear. This line will change colors, and once it finishes changing to green, a menu will pop up allowing you to add them or block them. In your menu, you will see a map that will show you where you are and where your fast travel locations are to get around the map much quicker. You can unlock more fast travel locations by completing the main storyline quests. You can also see world events on the map and quest turn-in locations. Every object in the world can be climbed. You climb by using the grip button on your controller and reaching towards a wall or ceiling and holding that button. Climbing does consume stamina, so be careful. When you are out of stamina, you will fall. The bottom of your screen on your HUD displays your level and XP, health, your rage or mana, and spells and their mana cost. This will also display whether or not the spells or abilities you have are on cooldown. When in a fight, above your enemy's head, you can see an enemy's level, health, and stagger bar. When the stagger bar fills up all the way, they will be stunned for a moment and take increased damage until the bar depletes. For the Blademaster, you swing your swords to deal damage. Waiting until there is a light spark on your sword will ensure it does more damage on the swing. You can just flail your arms, but you will not be doing max damage. Waiting until you see the small spark will ensure that you do the max damage with every swing, and it makes it so the game isn't just a flail game. Holding the trigger while swiping in a direction will activate a power attack. Once you level up a bit, you will have different abilities that will also bind to these motions. Power attack consumes Rage, which is the bar underneath the health bar for Blademaster. Blademaster can block attacks by holding trigger and guarding when enemies attack. However, this does take stamina, and if you are out of stamina, you cannot block. Holding the trigger after a swing will cause your weapon to glow gold and let you do the master swing once you unlock that ability. Your B button allows you to dash a short distance to get out of danger if you are out of stamina or just traverse the world. For the Essence Mage, you have guns at your side that are used for your main consistent damage. These guns can be charged up for more powerful attacks by holding the trigger. Spells can be activated by gripping and pulling the direction of the spell once you learn or unlock it. You will not have many spells early game, but once you hit about level 8 or 10, you will have unlocked a couple that you could swap between. Spells consume mana. When you are out of mana, you can swap to the guns to have damage instead of just trying to burn time until you get the mana back. Mana has a passive regen, so you will need to wait until it comes back. Food can also increase how much mana you can have at a time. Mages also have a teleport ability that helps you get a little bit of vertical distance as well. This is useful for dodging powerful attacks or running away if you get into trouble. If you are standing on a ledge and attacking a monster that cannot reach you, it will regain HP, preventing you from being able to defeat them while out of their range. While leveling up your classes, Godstones may drop for your class. These Godstones can provide minor and major upgrades to your skills, so make sure to check your Godstone tab in your menu to see what may have dropped and if they might be an upgrade to the one that you're currently using. These stones allow you to shape your class and abilities the way you want to play. Some can add more damage, others can lower mana cost or cooldown for the ability. Everyone prefers a different playstyle, so keep an eye out for what you might enjoy when you're playing. Zenith has a cooking mechanic that will actually provide food that can increase stats or provide bonuses. You can activate your cooking table by hitting the toggle station option in the menu. If you've unlocked the recipes and have the ingredients, you can make the different foods. The way that the cooking table is laid out is you will have a shelf on the left side with all the cooking supplies, a cutting table, a stove with a pot, as well as a pan for actually cooking the food, and then the cauldron on the right side. The cauldron is where you will put the food once it is prepared. You can get additional recipes by finding them as drops from monsters or completing quests from the chef found in the main city. To eat food, just hold it up to your mouth. You can also feed others this way. Food will give all sorts of different bonuses, from attack and health to critical strike or stamina. Gear in Zenith can be enchanted. Enchanting gear will increase the stats of the gear to make it even stronger. To enchant gear, go to one of the stations in the main city and select the gear you'd like to enchant. Enchanting gear costs money and dust. Dust can be found in chests while you are out exploring the world. I have found that the higher rarity of dust is often found in the much harder zones. There are also synthesizer stations scattered through the world that you can build gear that is the level of whichever area you are in at the moment. This costs materials earned from world's events and chests to be able to craft. If you do have an underleveled piece of gear, this can be the best way to fill that slot with a current powered level piece of gear. Trying to farm monsters for leveled gear can work, but there is a chance when monsters are being farmed that they just drop gloves over and over and you really need a chest piece. Having synthesized gear can be a way to make that chest piece without relying on the RNG. Scattered throughout the world are items called Tears of Amara. Collecting enough of these and bringing these to the statue in the first zone will allow you to increase your stamina by 1. Your starting stamina for the game is 10. These upgrades are very important for Blademasters due to how often they use stamina, especially for blocking. And that's all the main mechanics for Zenith. If you guys want a map for the Tears of Amara, want any clarification on advanced flying, or have any questions, make sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I'll do everything I can to answer everything and get you sorted. Right on the release of the game, I'll be doing at least a 24-hour stream on my Twitch, so make sure to come by and say hi, and if you guys have any questions, I might even be able to answer them live for you. Hope to see you all around the world, and if you see me running around, make sure to say hi.